30 tons of solid rock, no wheels, no metal tools, no written language. Yet somehow, a Neolithic culture dragged them across 180 miles of British wilderness. I'll show you exactly how they did it, and the discovery from 2024 that finally cracked one of archaeology's oldest mysteries wide open. On a windswept plain in Wiltshire, England, 93 stones stand in a circle that has refused to surrender its secrets for 5,000 years. Some weigh as much as a fully loaded school bus. Others were quarried from mountains so distant that the journey alone should have been impossible. And yet, here they are, arranged with astronomical precision by a people who had no wheel, no iron, no horses, and no writing. This is Stonehenge, and the question that has haunted historians, engineers, and archaeologists for centuries is deceptively simple. How? Let's start with what we know for certain. Construction at Stonehenge began around 3100 BC, during the late Neolithic period. The site evolved in stages over more than 1,500 years. The earliest phase was a circular earthwork, a ditch and bank enclosure. But the stones we recognize today, the towering sarsens and the mysterious bluestones, arrived later, between roughly 2500 and 2200 BC. And here is where the mystery deepens, because the stones did not come from nearby. The massive sarsens, some weighing up to 30 tons and standing over 20 feet tall, were dragged from West Woods about 15 miles north of the site. That alone is a staggering feat. But the smaller bluestones, weighing 2 to 4 tons each, came from the Preseli Hills in southwest Wales. That is 180 miles away, across rivers, through forests, over hills, by a people whose most advanced tool was a polished stone axe. For most of the 20th century, archaeologists assumed the builders used a combination of wooden sledges, log rollers, and sheer human muscle. The theory went like this. A stone would be lifted onto a wooden sledge, then dragged across logs laid like a primitive conveyor belt. As the sledge moved forward, workers behind it would pick up the freed logs and run them to the front, creating a continuous rolling surface. It sounds plausible, but there is a problem. Experimental archaeology, the practice of recreating ancient techniques to test them, has shown again and again that log rollers fail spectacularly on uneven ground. They sink into soft soil, they snap under 30 tons of pressure, they veer off course on the slightest incline. The British countryside, with its hills, bogs, and rivers, would have made this method nearly suicidal. So in 2024, a team from University College London, led by Professor Mike Parker Pearson, proposed something radically different. After examining wear patterns on Neolithic timber fragments found near the site, they suggested the builders used greased wooden tracks. Specifically, tracks lubricated with animal fat, possibly pig lard, allowing the sledges to glide rather than roll. Tests showed this method could reduce the required pulling force by nearly 70%. Suddenly, what once required thousands of laborers could be accomplished by perhaps 200. But that still doesn't explain the bluestones. 180 miles is not a casual journey. For decades, geologists believed glaciers might have dragged the stones partway, leaving them closer to Salisbury Plain. That theory has now collapsed. In 2019, researchers identified the exact quarries in the Preseli Hills, including Craig Rosie Felon and Carn Godog. They found evidence of Neolithic stone extraction, wedges, platforms, even discarded tools. The bluestones were quarried by human hands and transported the entire distance. How? The leading theory now involves a combination of overland sledging and river or coastal transport using rafts or dugout boats. The Welsh coast offered access to the Bristol Channel, and from there the stones could have been ferried east before being dragged inland. But every single step of this journey would have taken months, possibly years, of coordinated labor by a society that, on paper, should not have been capable of such an undertaking. And this is where the story takes an even stranger turn. In August 2024, a study published in the journal Nature revealed something that rewrote everything. The altar stone, the central horizontal slab at Stonehenge, was not from Wales at all. Chemical and mineralogical analysis traced it to northeast Scotland, more than 450 miles away, 450 miles, by a Neolithic culture, with no wheel. This discovery suggests something extraordinary. Stonehenge was not just a local monument. It was a project of national, possibly even international importance. The stones came from across the entire island of Britain, brought together at a single sacred site. This implies organized cooperation between distant tribes, shared religious beliefs, long-distance trade networks, and a level of social complexity we are only beginning to appreciate. Who were these people? They left no writing, no portraits, no names. We know them only through what they built and what they buried. Excavations at nearby Durrington Walls, a massive settlement that housed the workers, suggest thousands gathered seasonally to feast, build, and worship. Pig bones found there date the gatherings to midwinter, the same time the central axis of Stonehenge aligns with the setting sun on the winter solstice. Was it a temple, a burial ground, an astronomical calendar, a healing site? Evidence supports all of these. Hundreds of cremated remains have been found buried within the circle, suggesting it was, among other things, a place of the dead. But the precise solstice alignment also points to ritual timekeeping. An isotope analysis of skeletons found nearby shows that some of the buried individuals came from continental Europe, possibly seeking the site for spiritual or medicinal reasons. The truth is, Stonehenge was probably all of these things at once. A monument that meant different things to different generations. A project so ambitious that it bound a fragmented prehistoric society together for over 1,000 years. And yet, despite every recent breakthrough, the deepest question remains unanswered. Not how, but why? Why did a Neolithic people commit such staggering resources, such generations of labor, such unimaginable coordination to drag stones from the farthest corners of their world? What did they believe lay at the heart of that circle, powerful enough to justify 1,000 years of effort? That, perhaps, is the real mystery, and it is one that no amount of chemistry, archaeology, or engineering may ever truly solve. If this story made you see Stonehenge differently, subscribe to Mysteries of History. Every week, we uncover the lost civilizations and ancient secrets that mainstream history is afraid to confront. Hit the bell and join us at the edge of the unknown.